That's all I got. I got a Pop-Tart.
Had a fun first football FSU game. This little thing here is pretty neat to see everybody in the stadium doing this, and it was very exciting. Old Boss Man was there, and all your co-turns. Co-turns. They all came over and hung out. Yeah, it was a good time.
And brought some yummy meatballs.
Oh, God. You know, like the tailgate meatballs, but he put jelly in this mix. It was good. Very, really good. Very good. Yeah, so today is the 10th anniversary of 9/11. And I was just getting ready and turned on A&E, and they had this show, 102 Minutes That Changed America. And it just made me think, like, wow, you don't realize all of you hear the stories and, oh yeah, this plane crashed into the trade centers and that kind of stuff, and you always remember where you were at the exact time and that kind of stuff, but just the behind the scenes, like at Ground Zero as it was happening, these cameramen and the way they were showing everything was just crazy.
Because you think about, I guess the first thing I think about is the people that were actually in the buildings and like the firefighters and stuff that died, but watching that thing, you don't think about like around the buildings, like they were showing 4 blocks over was like smoky, and people couldn't breathe and all that stuff. So it's not just the people that what in the world? There's some guys on the side of the street in suits and ties and waving. Anyway, sorry. But anyway, so it's just all those people, and they showed them like calling their wives and trying to get in touch with people. It's just really sad.
And there was one guy talking, a cameraman, he was asking a guy what his name was, and he said that they were just in a building and couldn't see anything, and he pulled out his pistol and shot the glass out of the building, and that saved them because they were able to get out and breathe. Like, just, they were like scavenging around for just water because nobody could talk or breathe because there was so much debris. And that's just part of it. We're DVRing it so we can go back and watch it. Even though, like, in the back of my head, I even, like you'd said, I wasn't gonna like get into like watching and trying to get all into that. I mean, I know it's good to never forget,
but it's just depressing. I was
exactly
trying to be avoidant and not really watch it, but I think it's important that we do watch it because it's an important part of history, and it's important that we don't ever forget that how many people's lives were changed by that.
Where were you on 9/11 2000? 2001? 2000.
2001, honey. It's the 10-year anniversary. I was in college in my dorm room, and somebody called and said, oh my gosh, you got to turn on the TV. A plane just crashed. And at that point, we didn't know, what the deal was. So I turned it on, and my roommate, she was still sleeping, and so I turned it on and was watching it. I tried to wake her up to tell her, and she was like, I don't care about a plane crash, I'm trying to sleep. And she went back to sleep. So she missed some of that footage, but I watched some of it, but because she was sleeping, I tried to turn it down and not be too loud. But then I had classes that day, tried to go to class, and they had canceled classes, and so we just kind of sat around in the class and kind of talked about everything, and I think class was canceled for the rest of the week.
I was asleep, or I was not asleep, I was at home, still living with the parents, and was just laying in my bed. And you know how you just turn on the TV when you're laying in bed, just kind of wake up and stuff. I was doing that, saw the coverage, and I ran upstairs, and I was like, my dad was sitting there drinking coffee and stuff, just chilling. I think he may have been on the phone with somebody. I was like, Dad, they're saying a plane just crashed into the World Trade Centers, or one of them. And he kind of laughed, and he was like, that stupid pilot, what was he thinking? He thought I was kidding, I guess. And kind of made a joke about it. And then I turned it on, and we were sitting there watching as the second one hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost too.
And that's when my dad was like, something is not right. Like,
it's not just a plane crash.
Yeah, and we just kind of, and then it was just like we were stuck on the TV for the next 8 hours as they were doing all the coverage and stuff.
It's weird to think, too, that, like, I was in a school the other day, and I think I was in a 6th grade classroom, and they were watching something on it, and like the 6th graders are 11 now, so they were like 1. Some of them 1 or 2 or 3 when it happened, so they don't even remember. So it's just strange to think that their kids coming up, almost teenagers, that don't even remember this happening.
It's gonna be in the school, like in our history books, like our kids' We'll be talking about it, and we'll be those. I remember back in your day, I was sitting there, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, Granddad, hush! You don't even know what you're talking about." But no, it's one of those things. And I almost, just from watching the show this morning, if we hadn't have killed Bin Laden already, I was on Google looking up plane tickets to Afghanistan or Iraq to go find him and kill him.
It's an important day in history and a horrible day.
Never forget!
It's important to remember all the people whose lives are affected, and it will never be the same, and keep them all in our prayers.
And love your life, because we could have, I mean, you get mad about being in traffic and stuff, but people that were in traffic that morning, they're alive now because they didn't make it to the World Trade Centers. So be thankful for what you got, and don't. And
thankful for the freedom we have and the people that have been over there for 10 years fighting for us. So.